All right, guys, I'm not going to play any music before this one, which is not my signature, but I wanted to get straight into this discussion at the witching hour. And I am going to be as honest as possible about this. And I want to start off by first saying that I noticed in and social media, when it comes to witchcraft and the craft, gets on my last nerves. It does. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Uh, and it's because the amount of people that have their agendas and so it and then people like to come on YouTube or in social media and put on a show. And so it's a very destructive energy, and it's very challenging for witches, in particular for solitary witches. And by solitary, I mean a witch that doesn't have the friendship and the camaraderie of a coven. Okay. And I'm not talking about narcissistic, fake, false connections with people who are doing the most. I'm talking about actual, real sisterhood between witches. And what irritates me the most about it is that it seems like to me that it's being compared to the feminist sisterhood, which is not quite the same. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago, witches had to connect with other witches, which was usually the ones in their families that they could trust, and it was a matter of life and death. These days, it's the same thing. It's a matter of life or death, but with so much happening in social media, so much social engineering that is not just about Black people and their struggles. It's a lot. Um, Religion does a lot of social media, social engineering when it comes to witches. Okay. Hey, Stefan. So I had a conversation earlier where I was talking about, well, not earlier, yesterday, where I was talking about the meetings of witches and how I made the mistake and connected with the wrong people. However, I feel like that particular conversation was mistaken completely. And so I just kind of wanted to break it down. I understand that a lot of people have a hard time connecting with their understanding and empathy for others. And that's why I was saying, like, in my humble opinion, with everything that's going on, like, I want people to really, really understand, like, with this whole deportation thing, it is very real and it is very traumatic to the people that it is happening to. Like, I'm talking about being shipped, like that's really happening to those people. And so I'm not going to I'm not even going there and to give my political opinion of it. But I will say this, that I felt like those people are going to the wrong place in social media by trying to receive empathy, because social media can be very unempathetic. So that people don't care. Okay, so what's the point? Like something should have been done politically, maybe spiritually or something. That's not going to help. So that's why I brought that up, because people in social media can be very unempathetic towards others. It just is what it is. Okay, it just is what it is. Especially people that don't know you, people that are dealing with their own stuff, people that have their opinion. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But that is a very, very real thing that's happening to those people. And it ain't just happening to the Latino community. It's actually happening to the Haitian community, the Cuban community. It's happening to the immigrants. Okay. All right. So just, and so if you come to social media, people are just, they're and so it's the same thing when it comes to all other things. In fact, I feel that social media is like this trap house for everybody to just come and publicly like air their dirty laundry and their emotions and stuff. And so whatever that is about, I have no idea. But what I wanted to speak about was the importance of having a good coven or either joining a good. It is. Okay. And this is not going to be a negative conversation. It's not. It's this conversation is not going to be negative, but and it seems like when people try, I feel like when I speak about things, I feel like I start to open up people's heart chakras, and that can be difficult. Well, you know what? It is what it is. Okay, that's what I do. I'm a Cancer. I can't help it. It's just what we do. And if you're not prepared to deal with this conversation right now, then you may not want to listen. So, when I spoke about joining hands, that is about witchcraft. That is about a communion of witches. It has nothing to do with sex. It has nothing to do with sexuality. It has nothing to do with trying to one up men. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has everything to do with a witchy thing that is rarely understood. And part of the reason why is because of the witch panic. Like, for example, that video that I put up. When I saw that post on Facebook, and the lady was like, okay, I'm getting ready to move into this house, and there's these witch bottles like screwed into the wall. And people were like in the comment section saying, oh, rebuke that in the name of Jesus and have a priest come and clean out your home. Uh, that doesn't always work. In fact, most of the time it doesn't work. So that's why I was saying, which is, I come from a perspective of this though, Stefan. When it comes to hauntings, ghosts, and things of that nature, spirit work, the witches are coming from the same perspective as like hairdressers that are on here reacting to people dyeing their hair at home. They're like, at the end of the day, ultimately it's about go to a salon. So it's the same thing when it comes to witches. And rarely do you find a church that does exorcisms. Like, this is something that has been sort of like this going back and forth between witches and the church for the longest time. Okay. Our mothers and our grandmothers, like, for example, I just remember my mother saying, hey, you know what? There's a demon. Are you scared of it? I'm like, no. There's a demon. Are you scared of it? No. That was my witchy mother in the astral, in the etheric, teaching me. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that We understand. And so the having a coven is not even about trying to attack somebody. But when you see people that are trying to communicate with witches or practicing witchcraft, that's the way they come across. They come across as, oh, it's very threatening and we're just here to threaten you. And so I'm going to tell y'all what covens are actually about, okay? Throughout history, witches have been loved and adored by the community. They have not been hated. That's a lie. They have not been hated. They have been loved and adored by the communities that they are in. They have not been feared in that way. And however, the dynamic has changed a whole lot. And what I was going to say is that part of the reason why is because witches throughout history, we have always had, or, we, we've always been friends and cool with people of other religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs. It hasn't been this uncivil duress between us. It hasn't. Okay. So this has been throughout history that this has happened. However, when it comes to witchery, when it comes to having someone that truly understands, I'm talking about understand and overstands you. That is the point. That is the point. Because most people, when it boils down to it, they don't understand. Like, for example, especially when it comes to men these days, the first thing that they automatically think about when it's some kind of coven is sex. They're lesbians, which is ill. No, that's totally not the truth. Second thing they think about, oh, those witches are trying to get me to worship the goddess or worship women or no, no, that's not the truth. It's about the camaraderie and being connected to someone that overstands you. Now, obviously, what I spoke about yesterday, if you guys missed that, you guys can go and watch it. Obviously, the what I was talking about was fake people, fake. Because I'm sorry, yeah, no. Okay. But it is important, and it's a good thing. It's actually, normally it's a good thing. It's actually not a bad thing to have a coven. It's not, but people make everything bad. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be an extremely, then also another thing, having a coven, it's not necessarily about worshiping the leader of the coven. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the same. It's not the same as what you would see as, like, for example, like one of those religious cults. It's not the same. It's all about just having someone that understands you on like a very deep spiritual level, and that is very difficult to find. You need to be careful about, you know um connecting with people. You need to be very, very, very careful, is what I was telling y'all. Because I'm here to tell you, uh like I said, there are some people that would not even shake hands with people I don't shake hands with everybody that I come across. I don't touch everybody. I don't let people touch me. That's just like I tell pregnant women all the time, don't let some stranger touch your belly. So you have to be careful. But the reasoning for that is not about what perverted people try to make it about. Okay. I've noticed that there's a lot of accusations and crazy stuff that people are saying about that. Uh, and with the sole intention on using someone else to make another person or a male feel insecure about themselves. Okay. So, and that's not what covens are about. I wanted to come and say that because, and then also with the whole lesbian thing, that's not true either. If you're going to join a good coven, yeah, women, we talk about sex when we get together. Okay, like for example, a lot of people judge witches based upon movies, which I told y'all to stop doing that. Like for example, that movie, The Witches of Eastwick. Everybody loves that movie. I love that movie. It's a great movie. It is. However, it is not accurate for everybody. Everybody's always trying to turn everything into a sex thing. Everybody's always thinking about sex, sex, sex. It's not even like that. You join a good coven, yeah, you can, you know how people, kind of make comments about sex, but for it to be like some kind of sexual interlude, it is not. You know, in fact, there's a lot of high priestesses that will kick somebody out of their coven for flirting with them too much. I've heard of that happening. I've heard of that happening. Okay. So, and because it's not about sex, witches are not these damn heathens necessarily. And if you are a woman that sleeps with other women, I am not in judgment of you, but throughout history, witches have had men in their lives. And it's not about at all harming men. We don't believe in that. In fact, we believe in, for me, I don't want to say that I'm Wiccan, but I do believe in the balance of man and woman. I do believe in that. I do. Which is why, yeah, I believe in that balance between man and woman. I do. Or masculine and feminine. Okay, let's put it like that. Okay. So, and it's literally nothing, it's literally nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Um, so having a coven is not it's not a sexual thing. It's not a thing that is meant to hurt anybody. It's about having somebody that you can talk to that believes that understands you. Now, what's sad and what I can see happening, which is what happened to me, is extreme disloyalty. I don't like disloyal people. I don't. That is just awful, and I don't even know why disloyal people thinking that they breaking ground. That's the dumbest thing ever, to be disloyal. I wouldn't waste my time in my life being disloyal to anybody in my life. What's the point? What's the like what does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't even make any sense. So, you know, um there's a lot of people that tend to think that being disloyal to another person is some kind of groundbreaking thing. I have no idea, but I know that I don't like that. And I know that for me, um, I am uh looking forward to even if you have witchy daughters, sometimes your daughters or your sons may not be into that, especially if they weren't necessarily raised that way, or maybe they're just not ready. Even if you have children, though, I think that it is important to have trusted witches. Like, y'all do realize that there are witches that can be trusted. Like, I don't understand this whole thing in social media, which is why I honestly, I just cannot wait to get a good long break from social media. I could not believe that the purple people eaters sent drones or clones or whatever they fucking are. Couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? Excuse my language. Trying not to curse so much, but it's so annoying how fake people can be. And when you that's just like when that's just like a man and a woman that makes love or has sex. There's a covenant that is a sexual covenant that is between the two of them, which is very powerful. Why on earth take that within itself for granted? You know what I'm saying? And I think it's important for people to understand that. But when it comes to witches, like, we, for some reason, and it is bad, it is really bad, and I'm gonna tell you something, it's a huge mistake. It is. I've been saying that for the longest. This is one of the reasons why I don't like being in Georgia. This is one of the main reasons. People with their witch panic, satanic panic type of thing, to the point where the church is going around telling people, setting people up for failure. Oh, um, oh, jack-o'-lanterns are evil. A jack-o'-lantern is evil. That's evil. That's satanic. Everything's satanic. Everything's ungodly. Everything's ungodly. And it's like, what the hell does that even mean? God created everything. What are you talking about? Like, it's not even about going into business. There are a lot of witches that don't do work for other people. It's not about having a business or all the time making money. It's not even about that. It's about that witchy understanding that has nothing to do with what the world is doing, with what politics is doing, and it has nothing to do with that. I've seen married couples where the husband was actually in the woman's coven too, though. I've seen that too. I've seen that happen. Where the husband was welcomed into the witch's coven, and there's nothing wrong with that either, but it needs to be an understanding of who we are. Like, for example, like that video that I put up, why are people trying to do the job of witches? That's our job. People that are not really qualified want to do our job, and it's a very sacred job. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. So it just, and then what really is weird to me is the amount of religious people that stand in direct judgment of witches, but yet they're around us. Like, I don't, what's that about? That's not even something that has happened in history before. Like, people that were religious felt very comfortable being around witches. Sometimes you would be around a witch and you wouldn't even know it. Witchcraft can be hidden. So, I mean, I don't, it's kind of weird to me what's happening here. And I think it's mainly a social media thing. I think that when it comes to certain vices in social media and certain things that people believe in, I feel like it's another way of, it's like a pattern of learned brainwave activity or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, if you hear something over and over and over again, repeatedly and repetitively, then your mind is going to start believing it, which is one of the reasons why when I heard somebody talking about me earlier in an earlier live from 4 months ago, I closed it out. I'm not going to sit and listen to somebody talk. I don't even want to say negatively about me, but just against what I actually believe in. Because when you start hearing something over and over again, which is why people repeat things over and over again, because that's what they want you to believe in. And this is one of the reasons why I just want to get out in nature. I don't want to be homeless, no, but I want to be out in nature where I don't have to hear it. Mm-mm. Social media is sometimes a disaster area. It is. It's terrible. Unfortunately, until I get my brick and mortar store, which I will, and I don't even know why people in social media would even be trying to fight against negative place where, people, you know what I mean? Social media can be an extremely negative place to be in. It can be. So I'm just saying, it's just weirdness. It really is. It's very, very strange how people are, especially about witches. Why none of us will ever know why people are so weird about witches. You know what I mean? I, and then it doesn't help when you get, people that behave very fraudulently, as far as with, you would go as far as to meet up with a witch so that you can like strike her or mess with her. Like, that's what the hell. What are people doing these days? I don't get it. But it's all about that. It is. That's what it's about. Okay. And it's not about sex. It's not about being a lesbian. It's not about, you know, screwing somebody, because I can promise y'all that for me, 99.9%, 99.99% of people in this world, I would never let touch me with a 10-foot pole. Okay. So, yeah, no. Okay. And typically, witches don't play those kind of games. They're very serious about their craft. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to really stop comparing our behavior with witches that you see on TV. There used to be a time when witches could get along with each other and it wasn't a bunch of damn drama. And it shouldn't be drama amongst adults anyway, goodness gracious. I mean, I'm pretty sure that in every manifestation of humankind there have been people like me that have said, can we please just behave responsibly here? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about. But though it's about having somebody that truly understands you, that has your back. Rarely would there be people sitting around just waiting to betray a person. Like, that's not even normal, but for some reason this has been something that somebody decided 10, 11, 12 years ago that it would be entertainment and to 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 betray your friends, and people don't know how to have a mind of their own. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, like, it's not about making men feel some type of way. I will tell you that um one thing about it is that energy is energy. And if you are somebody that's practicing and you stand in judgment all the time and you want to be, controlling, and you're just randomly doing spells and messing with people, witches are going to detect that and they're going to be like, You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen that happen before. You know what I'm saying? And I've had it happen to me to where it was just like this entire mess. So I would not be dealing with any messy women. It just seems like these days, true friendship is rare and it's unheard of. What is going on? Because I got to be honest with y'all, there are times when witches do need other witches to kind of understand. It's not about their relationship, because I don't talk to other women about my relationships with men. I know how to handle my men on my own. And you know what I'm saying? So I'm not even talking about that. I'm just saying, like, just with anything where you may need to just have that understanding with another witch. And I think that people, like, for example, well, I can't really use okay, what I will say is that for some reason, there are people who feel the need to feel threatened. And the reason why they feel threatened by you having some kind of camaraderie or getting along with someone else is because, oh, that person is making her look socially acceptable. And it's like, well, this person does accept me socially. That's why we collab together. So what's the issue? You know what I'm saying? So it's really, really weird. And then all these energies floating around of distrust and people being weird. Like I don't like that. And I am hoping to grow a much let me see, I'm gonna be right back in the chat. Oh, okay. It's been giving me that little warning thing, and it's just so weird. And then another thing that's very weird is people that become obsessed, obsessed to the point where, they're murderous, and that's not exactly the I mean just literally, like, get over these people in social media and move on with your life. Goodness gracious. If you don't get along with somebody, you just don't get along with somebody. People want to post things, I don't like you, and I don't like, and it's like, so don't nobody care if you don't like me? Like, what the hell is wrong with people? No, you don't like yourself, because what you put out to the world mirrors back to you. That's you. Why are you even thinking about those people? I don't think about people I don't like. People that I don't like, I usually typically will have somebody tell me that they done did something. Otherwise, I don't be thinking about people I don't like. I think about the people that I do like. I don't think about things that I don't like. I guess that Okay, y'all, I'm back. Sorry about that. I'm going to end this one by saying this. Right now, and what I've noticed that it must be a lot of people that are dealing with this is not actual real anything, but more so people wanting to keep up appearances. Like, for example, the adversaries that I have on here, instead of it being, instead of it, instead of them being true friends, they weren't. But then what they want to do is they want to go over on other platforms and make it look like they want to do the same exact thing that led to them not being qualified to be my friend, and then responding by saying, "Oh, well, I'm a good person. I'm a trustworthy person," while still doing the same things. That it's weird, and I I got to tell you straight up and down, like, if you leave this earth and it ain't one person on this earth that could trust you, truly trust you, to me that's failure. Like, if you didn't have a real trusted type of situation where somebody was actually able to trust you and you trust them, and it may not even be your fault, maybe it's some kind of emotional problem or something, but you know what I'm saying. So I've noticed that, like, those, like, I'm talking about those women. She's lying on me, but let me go over here and do exactly what I did to prove that I didn't have the ability to be real and that I'm fake. So it's very weird. And it's hard for me to explain it right now. I got some work to do, y'all, so I gotta go. I just wanted to come and say that real quick. It's very weird. It is, though. It's very weird. But just to reiterate that to people, covens and things of that nature is for the support, uh, because it is a totally different energy when it comes to, um, the Bible and everything. It's different. It's different. Okay. Not to say the people are necessarily different, but it is a different energy. And it's not, Bible magic is not the same as witchcraft magic. It's two totally different things. It is. So, and I don't, it just, I just wanted to come on here to reiterate this is the whole point of what I'm making. And are still doing it, tried to make it about sex when I've never been attracted to those women in that way. And I'm not attracted to women sexually like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can look at a woman and say, "Oh, she's pretty, she's beautiful." But for me to actually go, "Oh my God, I want to lick you." No, yeah, I don't sit around fantasizing about that. So I think that that's what I wanted to boil it down to. Okay. So, and you got to be careful out here in social media. It's the truth when it comes to, I think that can have more of a devastating effect on your mind, body, and spirit doing that, even more so, hooking up with a man from the internet. It's like a totally different thing. It's like really, really detrimental that you're able to trust those people. And if you can't find somebody or, ever in life that you can't trust to do that with, then don't do it at all. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, that feels good. Okay. Is what I wanted to say. So I don't know. I just wish that here's what I want at this point is to connect with more well balanced actual witches that are not apologetic about it, but not necessarily angry about it because, you know, that should, I mean, you can compare that to how there's some people that come to social media and they've never been around black people before. There's some people that have never been around white people before and they didn't know how they were. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. So, yeah. But that's what it's about. It's not about sex. It's not about, it oh my goodness. It's been so many people on this website that like don't judge all of us witches the same. Please don't. There are some people on here that to me they're obviously like lesbians and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're very angry, they're very diabolical, very toxic, diabolical, toxic. Okay. So there's people on here that are like that and they're always talking about sex magic and da 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 da. And it's like I would never want to hear them talk about that because it's like, no. But it's not about that. I think that everybody needs to get that perversion out of their head. At least this channel needs more people that don't think that way. And see, yeah, yeah, no. So, anyway, that's pretty much what I wanted to say, y'all. I hope that it was understood. It's some people on here, they're in like these groups and they're constantly talking about sex and it's like I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna actually throw up if I hear this person talk about sex. I'm gonna, when you get close to your friends or whatever, you don't throw up when they do that. But once you realize that a person, they just had perverted malice in mind, it just, because I don't know if you're having a harmless conversation with someone, but then it turns into sexual abuse and weirdness and that's not the place that you're coming from. And it's been a lot. It's been a lot of icky people talking about icky things. Very, very ick. And like I said, I don't believe that, I don't want, let me tell you something. If I were queen, I wouldn't want to see a male bow to me rather than take his head off. That's what queens do. Like historically, that's what the queen would do. I don't want you to bow to me. I want you to um, come on down here so we can off your head for disrespecting the queen. So there, yeah, that's just what that is. I'm not trying to get along with someone that is obviously messed up in the head like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to tame. You know, queens don't do that. What queens do is they just chop your head off and keep it moving, and have caviar and wine for dinner. That's the kind of queen that I was. I'm not, so my witchery is not about, yeah, no. Like, and there have been many queens that have been witches and people just didn't know about it. And they didn't, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have time to be playing no games with nobody like that. Okay. They wouldn't even waste their time on something like that. So it's not about, getting men to bow down. It's not even about that. It's not about that. I don't know. Like, people live the way that they want to live. Just don't expect everybody to be cookie cutter. Don't expect everybody to, feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? We're not animals. We're not animals like that in that sense. We're human beings here, and while, yeah, like, I've actually spoken about this before on this channel, but I must have took the videos down. I think the next thing up in line that I want to talk about, because I'm going to get off of this subject, there's too much fear. And then there's also too many controlling people and I've seen women be controlling like that. Oh, I don't want her to have any friends because it's going to look like so and so and so. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why? Why are you here? Why did you click on my channel link? Why do I know you? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of unhealthy, unbalanced women out there. It really is. You know? So that can make it very difficult to, you know, uh to actually have real witchy friends. It's a big mess. It's a big mess. Okay, and then especially being that people like to see drama in social media, and I don't want to be a part of nobody's drama. I can have a good debate, I can have a conversation. Drama and abuse, no. I'm not coming from that place ever. I could literally sit here for the rest of my life and not have any drama or abuse, and I can promise you that I'm already dealing with enough being a damn empath. That's why I don't have room for it. I'm an actual real god dang empath. That's a fact. I'm an empath. And that conversation that I had, the live that I didn't put, because I don't like to put things in titles because it may attract the wrong people. I'm just, that's just like when I made commentary about Finney the Great. I didn't want to attract those people necessarily to my channel. Because 9 times out of 10, if it's some kind of drama, I'm not going to be involved with it. I'm not. And I'm not going to be watching it, especially if it's ongoing drama. Like, what the, like, really? No. So it's really weird. But anyway, yeah. So I'm not going to be somebody's subject of their drama constantly. I'm not. That's an example of being subjugated. I don't like that. Okay. So that's why I stay away from it as much as possible. And I do believe that it leads to health problems and stress. Not good at all. Okay. So, anywho, yeah, coven should be a safe place. It should not be a place of judgment. It shouldn't be a place of treachery. and betrayal. It should not be, not a coven, maybe a group of people, but there's supposed to be trust within that coven. There's not supposed to be, yeah. I mean, it may be some arguments sometimes, but not you're trying to ruin my entire life. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So just so that we're clear, also another thing I want to make perfectly clear is that if you were to join hands with me as a witch under Hecate and you betray me, I won't ever forgive you. I'll forgive my loved ones, my man, my friends outside of that, my family, obviously children. I won't forgive you because that's too sacred. It's a different type of covenant. So no, it will never be. Again, once I've given you an opportunity and you snake me in that way, it's over for good. Don't even look my way. That's a fact. Now we can go back to uh especially being when it comes to women, and it ain't just about being a witch or intuition and the ick feeling that other women can give to other women. No, thank you. It's over for good. We ain't gonna never be friends again. We ain't gonna never be cool again. It ain't gonna never happen. And you can't make somebody either. You can't threaten them into it. You can't force them. It just is what it is. That's the definition of crazy. Yeah, once you've become a threat in that way, I don't care about what you're going through. I don't care about what you're going through. And, no. Mm-mm. Especially, like I said, when it comes to that inner monologue of women, I don't want to deal with no confused ass, chaotically mind woman. I don't. Nah. And my mother was not like that either. When my mama passed away, I felt everything she was protecting me from. Everything. And I almost died. My mom was a Virgo. She kept me in a very, very, very peaceful place. Wish she was still here, man. Amazing lady. So I guess if you had a really chaotic mother, maybe that's why women can be like that. I don't know. I've seen and experienced women that were not, you know. Anyway, let me go, y'all. Y'all have a good one, okay? Blessings. Bye.